I remember the day vividly. It was Halloween day, and I was so excited to go to school as Link. I didn't have the Master Sword, but I did have a plastic sword I'd had for years. After a full day of candy classes, I headed to the bus where I saw somebody else dressed up as Link, though their outfit looked a little more expensive than mine. They had said, "You look like Linkle," and I thought that Linkle was a fan-made character since they didn't have Hyrule Warriors or a Switch anyway at the time. When I took my seat, they sat across from me, playing something on their Chromebook. I mostly ignored the other Link. A few weeks passed, and a group of guys walked up to me after the last class ended. One of them said, my friend likes you?" I'm pointing to a guy I recognized. Link from Halloween. Starting then, every recess, Link would sit next to me during lunch. Normally, you'd say, "We'll get to know the guy, go out and say hi." But I'm the type of person where if you sit next to me, I'll do anything but look you in the eyes or start a conversation. Anyway, Link started sitting next to me more often, and it seemed like we were becoming friends. Even so, I could never look him in the eyes. And one day, I somehow became his girlfriend, which never happened to me before. But he'd start touching me in inappropriate places. When I told him to stop, he would, for a second. He'd lean in for a kiss on the lips, but I turned my head so it lands on the cheek. He'd try to hold my hands, but I don't like anyone holding my hands. I never felt anything towards him. I thought, this must be normal. Yeah, it's normal. Over the years, he started being more aggressive towards affection. When he invited me over to play video games, he'd shut the door in his room with me and him in it. I wouldn't move. I wasn't allowed to. He would insist I take my socks off so he can kiss my feet. I hated it. I would count the minutes until I was allowed to leave this prison and finally go home. Soon I dreaded seeing him. I cried whenever I got a text from him. But I wasn't allowed to break up. After all, this is normal, right? I never wanted to go to his house again, and I never wanted to see him again, or even talk to him again. But he still kept showing up. Once on the bus, he pulled the kiss on the lips card. And I felt nothing. And this had been year 4. It'll kick in, I thought. I'm just not used to it. This is normal. The fact was, it wasn't. It wasn't normal. I started researching. I knew at this point that it was a one-sided relationship. I found a link about toxic relationships. It was word for word the situation I was in. I showed him the link, and we argued. This was normal. He threatened to take his wife if I broke up with him. I told my mom, who told his mom, and she told him to stop that kind of behavior. And he actually did. This had been year 5. I decided I've had enough. I took a stand and I broke up with him. One of my friends saw his true nature long ago, and she's no longer friends with him. I just wish I could do the same, but it feels like I'm trapped. The other day, I took him off my friend list in Bandery. I just hope I could keep it up for my other games and then finally in real life.